guys butter us up and get us ready for the big bangers. And hopefully this will be one that delivers. Liquid facing elimination up against Boss. Can they bring out the all caps in a game like this, Vince, as we kick off the best of 3 on Inferno? A little bit of Vaseline on the screen to keep this one clean, Vince. It is going to be a banger.
Let's hope that Pone can wipe that one away in time for them to push, which he has done just that. However, it's going to be into an early demise anyway. Dirtbath has been pushed in by Skullz, and they're just going to be ripping straight onto the site. You heard Pimp say, just do whatever you want. Well, Liquid, zero respect shown there with that quad push. And in the post plant, they're going to have the advantage here as well. Going to be a difficult one to retake with Twistzz also in middle. The Shadow betraying Darty around the corner, and Twistzz goes in for a second.
Severing his way through the brackets and shutting down anyone from Boss that looked to make their way back into the bomb site. Not going to allow them to carve a path. Already KD erupting and trying to get the entire squad dialed in and ready, knowing that this is a very important game. Doesn't matter what the opponent is, doesn't matter where you are, you're one game away from elimination. You can't allow that to happen. A lot of investment into the Liquid project, obviously something we're going to see develop over some time, but not making it to the major would be a big X in the book.
Oh, it would just be unacceptable. I mean, I'm not going to mince words or anything. If Liquid don't make it here, then there's massive questions to be asked. Yes, the roster hasn't been together for a huge amount of time, but everything coming into this tournament, you felt like Liquid had to qualify. They had to be one of those 5 teams. You were looking at like Liquid and Complexity with the 2 ironclad teams you're looking at, and like Furias, Imperials, maybes as well. But if Liquid lose this matchup, considering that Boss have only picked up 11 rounds in the last 4 times they've played collectively, there's got to be big questions asked to this team.
There really has to be. Yeah, there really has to be. Quick one, whilst we've got a bit of a technical timeout here fixing an issue with one of the mics, we can have a bit of a look back into the past. So the previous time these 2 teams went head-to-head, we had basically the same veto, other than the fact that Ancient and Anubis were flipped. So it's a little bit different there, Vince. You know, we never know. Maybe we'll see a different flavor going into Ancient. That is going to be the guaranteed second map in the series. Anubis will have to wait in the wings towards the very end. And I'm curious how different things are going to be looking in terms of the overall game plan for Liquid on Inferno. Because up against BESTIA, there was a lot of ridiculous clutch rounds, right? Unsustainable rounds that you probably don't expect to see happen again. They were kind of flash in the pan level plays, but it was their CT side that felt like it had a majority of the issue. So starting off on T here could be a blessing for them.
Yeah, that's very true. And plus, obviously, on the CT side as well, you're playing more static. And if you're being a bit twitchy, a bit nervy, it can definitely be a bit of a detriment. But nothing twitchy or nervy about this. Just a full-on rush down banana. And Boss have got themselves 2 kills in return. They're not able to pick up either of those weapons, unfortunately. And it feels like they're one wild haymaker, only a glancing blow. There is a Zeus out in the apps, but no one's going to see action over on that side of the map. It's down to Cryptic, and he is found and put down with authority. Like, we're going to take the 2-0. Yeah, maybe starting on that T side just allows them to loosen themselves up, run and gun it a little bit more, rely on their aim. And these are components of Liquid that obviously we know they're one of the best teams in the RMRs. Actually, they have some of the best players in the entire world when it comes to aim. I mean, Twistzz himself, this guy could have gone to pretty much any roster in the world and decided to come back to NA, decided to go back home again. So you're looking at players like him and Naf. These guys are insane.
Yeah, a lot of talent. Definitely a lot of talent. Optics for the future as well with Skullz, right? Who's garnering more and more respect to his name, which is deserved. Definitely very talented. You'd expect they'd be able to show up, do an awful lot of damage. Oh, mate. It's a shame we didn't see it with the old Zeus play. All in all, not a bad eco, right? You go running down banana, force 2 guns out their hands. It's not the worst case scenario. Would have been better if you got the Zeus in. He's hoping maybe they'll exit out towards ruin sides, but they're all going to barrel down banana and get away.
He's going to try and shut down one in the back. There are 2 players that are low here. He might get away with this one. I like the idea from Freshie. Yeah. A couple of prayers to Zeus, and then decide to try and go for the backstab and nearly picked it off. So fair play. And that's another element to this as well. Like, all the pressure is on Liquid's shoulders for this game.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like, no disrespect to Boss whatsoever. Like, obviously, Pone Alone's only been in the roster for just over a month. This is a team that is going through a bit of a tumultuous period right now. So they're coming into this tournament. I'm not saying that there's no pressure on them. Of course, they're here to win. but there's a lot more stress on the shoulders of Liquid.
It's a very different dynamic for both teams.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right. And that's something that obviously, if you start taking rounds, especially compared to the previous results that we'd seen, where they weren't really able to get themselves on the board, you do it now on LAN where you can build each other up, start to get that sort of momentum behind you, that can quite quickly mount. There's pressure that can creep into the minds of Liquid. You see the difference of how they approach that as well compared to the previous outing where Canids instantly up to his old tricks, right? Going to be yelling, going to be deflecting, taking a lot of that sort of emotional side that helps them out a bit and alleviates any of that potential future stress. For now, two players set up round towards quad side, up on top. You've also got Freshie down at the bottom watching the exit round 3 balcony. And they are close towards brackets. The early molly goes in, but that won't do any damage. Heat rises, Vince, but not that high.
Yeah, there's a nice little buffer of that quad. The tiles are going to shield any of the heat. And Pone alone and the rest of the gang are able to back off onto the site. They've got their player pick from the former Twistzz. And Naf's going to go back in, spotting a shoulder just round the corner. But the CTs have done a really good job here of stalling a lot of time. There's only 45 seconds left on the clock. And other than a very aggressive YEKINDAR up on Banana that they may pivot back to, not much else has gone in favor of Liquid here.
Starting to wrap off as well. Using some utility to still sell the idea of a late play, potentially making them believe they're going to bleed round through arch side as well. But the real execute's on B, and there's some utility here that could really throw a spanner in the works. The Molotov goes out at the right time. You've only got 20 seconds left on the clock, so it's got to be clean here for Liquid. The rotations are arriving. Famous in the back of the bomb site. Brett waiting to unleash. 11 seconds on the clock. You've got to go and get those entries. They're all getting themselves stuck. It's looking good for Skullz, though, as he unleashes. Paying with the AK. 3 seconds as the bomb goes down. Oh, that's going to be tight, Vince. It's just over the mark.
It was half a second too slow. Oh, that is so demoralizing if you're Liquid. Caught in such an awkward spot. And it was that Molotov, you highlighted it. Plus, even though neither of the players on the site got a kill, they put so many bullets down range that you just saw Liquid were too scared to actually push in. And that was the difference maker.
It's one of those where you're watching it on the timer and thinking maybe it's off just very slightly. Maybe it was 4 seconds in game and he got it down at the last possible chance. But no, he just left it far too late on the actual execute out. Oh, that's going to be a rough round to take on the chin. That's a hefty nade to open up the follow-up as well, slowing him down on the push towards middle.
It's an awkward one for Liquid, but give props to Boss for stalling that as long as they did. And they're going to go for the same quad stack again. 2 players up there. Freshie watching apps from a different angle. And YEKINDAR, I've got a big sense of deja vu, pushing Banana by himself. It's almost an identical start to last round.
Same setup as well. 2 players up on top. They try to clear it this time, but they're getting mauled. Pone alone does not need backup. He does it all on his lonesome. Freshie falls. As Naf goes down on the trade back, and you've only got 2 players left. Liquid looking pretty brittle into this one. YEKINDAR on 64. Switches over the Galil to Cadian. He's on 22 HP himself. How do you even build into this one, though? Round 4 gonna be looking incredibly good for Boss here to get 2 on the board.
Straightforward kill for Brett. Catches YEKINDAR off guard, and Cadian, with 38 seconds, 22 health to his name, and Galil is about to get hunted down by Brett. Takes his head instantly. Immediate headshot. But that is one of many that he has to deal with. So I think it's going to be a save back in T-Spawn. And this is the other element as well. Like, you know, we talk about previous stats in the IEM Dallas and Chengdu qualifiers.
Yeah.
We discussed in the EU portion the RMRs as well, man. Like, a lot of teams, a lot of players get an RMR buff.
Oh,
when
absolutely.
When they get to this point, this is where we see the best they have in store, the best they have to offer. As Katie is just chilling in the corner. But I think that's kind of what we're seeing from Boss here. You know, coming into the tournament, they looked like they were just going to get destroyed every time they played Liquid. And yet early doors already, you're seeing that Liquid, they're being tested. Some of it is self-inflicted, sure. But some of it is Boss just landing their shots, man. Like, that stack on top of the quad side, just destroying those players, winning all their duels.
I think that's the difference of them going into it feeling very confident for a lot of these fights as well. You could see overall, like, everyone on the same page. They had the huddle before the game, the Bosch yell that went out. It has been all caps thus far. 2-2 then. No money in the bank for Liquid, of course. It will just be the one weapon that was brought over from the previous for Cadian. That's all they've really got to play off. At least there's 2 flashbangs, so you could try and set up for maybe a cheeky pop round the corner on quad if you want to go for it, see if you can flash them off. They switch up the setup a bit this time, expecting a potential faster B play with a low cash for the T's, though.
Boss have a chance to go 1 round better than they did last time they played against Liquid. They only got 2 rounds. That was back about 6 or 7 days ago. And Pwn alone won't be called upon because Freshie is there, but now Pwn is going to get tried and tested. And he passes alongside Freshie. It's a clean lockdown. And Boss take the lead 3-2.
Got to win these nice and tight as well. Even into the previous round, I was a little bit worried maybe they'd overpeak, hoping to shut down Cadian and throw away some of those weapons. It was only the 1 casualty here. Here it's even better, where no one falls. So at least you get a bit of extra money in the coffers. Your wallet will start to swell a little bit.
And this goes back to that point that you raised as well before, Jackie, where it's like, maybe it's better to start on the T side. This is the other edge of that sword, though. If you start shaky and you start losing rounds that you probably shouldn't, for example, the bomb plant round where it went against them, that's where things can go from bad to worse. And Cryptic, oh, he's burying them where they stand in Banana. YEKINDAR yet to get off the mark again. He's had a rough go of it so far in the RMRs, and that's not changing anytime soon, it would appear.
No, that is uncomfortable for him, man. There's been some iffy plays towards Banana. That's why I was actually a little bit more worried about Inferno as the starting point as well. History would lead you to believe that this would be Liquid's all day, but already here, there is gaps, there is openings. And Boss are pulling out the crowbar, Vince. They're finding their way into the game.
They most certainly are, Jackie, and I know some people weren't completely sold on Liquid winning this matchup. It's still early days, but Boss are showing real signs of life here. Pwn alone going into the site. There's Molotovs and flashes being traded. Freshie's going to burn alive, but Naf puts him down with the AK. And 40 seconds on the clock, but Pwn alone, living up to his name, sprays down 3. Secures his 8th, and Boss get a 4-2 lead. That was against Rifles, and they hold the line.
Oh, mate, age is just a number. If you're a natural-born gamer, you do it every damn day. Comes out swinging again. This man's got knuckle dusters on, Vince. It can't be allowed, surely.
Oh, man, they brought a knife to a gunfight there big time. Pwn alone just standing and delivering. Say, come on, then. What you got for me?
You want to scrap, boys?
Yeah.
He was ready for it. Nice way to get things going early doors into the first map of the best of 3 then. Boss living their movie right now. Boost up on top again. Quad side control has been a heavy part of the setup for the CT side. For Liquid, it's been a bit uncomfortable towards Banana, but YEKINDAR, he'll try to force the issue again, waltzing his way through the smokes. The back of the bomb site. 2 players over towards Dark and Nubox. You've got nades, you can slow this, but there's not been much information. Looks like it might be a bit of a faster play. A pop round the corner and just bombard in.
Brett and Cryptic have done a really good job of holding the line before in previous rounds, and so far so good. 2 kills, make it 4. Cryptic with a triple. Yeah, sure, it's against pistols, but these are the kind of rounds where Liquid will be hoping for a kill. Maybe a bomb plant. Complete shutdown. Not a single point of health was lost in the process of this shutdown round. And that'll be Boss off to a 5-2, and Cadian, he's about to get pincered from behind if he's not careful from Darty. Nice shot. Gonna keep that economy honest, at least. But at this point, you've lost 1 player. Boss can just sit in position and wait. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to go for any peaks, nothing like that. Don't give Cadian an opportunity. Don't give him a sniff into this round.
No, you've got him entirely trapped, right? Can't go backwards, can't go forwards. They peak together, so at least the spam has to come out with the Deagle. It goes awry. Freshie confirms it. And the 5th round is there. So you weather the storm up against the fast pop towards B. Nice use of the nades as well. They're coming into that, instantly got hit by the HE, strips so much health off them. But of course, it just slows you down as well. That tagging, right? It just makes it really uncomfortable. It feels like you're stuck in mud trying to get into the bomb site.
It's one thing that Cadian talked about, I think it was yesterday or the day before. He said the problem that we're dealing with is inconsistency. Consistency is not being something that they could bank off. Problem with a game like Counter-Strike, Jackie, you kind of need some consistent players to be performing. You need to at least have sort of a spine in which you can build off, a foundation in which you can pivot through. And if you're not getting those guaranteed sort of consistent protocols working out, that's where things start to come apart at the seams. That's what we're kind of seeing here again. They're trying banana controls, not happening. They go for these eco pushes with the sort of run and gun mentality that Pimp was talking about on the desk, like kind of do your own thing and just win out on the duels. Well, they can't win out on duels either. Nothing is working for them.
8 rounds into the game. It's looking a little bit slow. How are they going to switch it up? They go back to B again. They felt comfortable to take the top banana control. YEKINDAR's going to stick to his guns and playing around this smoke and looking for that early opener, but no one pushes in deep. Playing back towards the bomb site. Yeah, you've given it up, but you've still got the nades. So getting out of this choke point is now the harder piece of the puzzle, but at least banana control is taken into the back pocket.
Smoke down. It would appear that Brett and Cryptic are deciding to push behind this, just clear off those close angles. Interesting, they're retreating a third player over from A, even though they've seen nothing on B for a while. And this could prove to be to their detriment here, Jackie. That effectively leaves it into a 4v2 push onto the site. YEKINDAR is waiting, and he will get his man of Brett. Some intel does get gathered, but it's more of a lurk than anything else.
Still the commit towards the A play. You've got backup in apartments. They're bleeding their way out round arch side as well. 40 seconds on the clock. Nafai gets spotted. He knows about his position. Attempting to defend towards the extremities. The last of the utility being thrown out as well. Clear pit if possible. Freshie backing up with a double setup on Pwn alone. But now they've rused everyone. The complete rotates come in from Boston. In the final 24 seconds, they retreat back and go to B.
It's a great call from Cadian here. Should have a welcome mat, red carpet for their arrival with a post plant and the round on top of it. I mean, Boss have enough funds to justify going in for a potential retake, but it's like the bigger picture at this stage. Just hold on to your weapons. You've got an AK, plenty of utility. Doesn't mean that Liquid get back on the board though for the first time in what will feel like forever. They're going to get to their third, and Skullz is in a hot pursuit. He may try and deny some of these weapons. The thing is, the economy for the T's not in great shape here. They can't really afford to lose too many weapons of their own.
If you over-egg this one, could be a bit punishing. Skullz and Twistzz were left on the lurk, hoping that maybe they'd come running round, look for the retake like you say, but nothing was there. They opt to keep the economy building, give themselves longevity in this game, not play for the instant clash back. A 5-3 scoreline in the first half as well. It makes sense. You can definitely build from this, and you've got enough cash now to support the team over the course of this game. Make sure you've got all those extra nades that you need.
Super close, tense game between these two squads. Only one casualty in that previous round, but that was enough to seal the deal. And it was a good call from Cadian. Realizing that B site was ripe for the taking, an over-rotation from Boss, going in for the gamble stack. Not sure if we'll see that happen again. They did kind of pivot off YEKINDAR, catching a player in Banana, and they're going to be checking those angles from here on out, doing their due diligence.
It's one of those as well where obviously that nade sound now plays with or without armor, but it can be a bit inconsistent. So even though it landed right on his head, they might have not heard the big chunky noise. So they didn't think to clear it, lost out on the fight. YEKINDAR again takes the opening chip damage off the back of the instigation from the round. So he's down to 65, but still just sticking to what he does best, waiting to see if anyone's going to push down, and you can sever the rotation. You're also conditioning Boss a little bit with these slower rounds now. It's a different style of game coming out from Liquid.
Definitely slowing things down, and I think you're seeing respect being shown as well. A pistol round just straight in the face. A lot of aggression early doors, and once they were brought back to reality and crated into the deck after that half a second too slow plant, it seemed like things changed. The problem is, though, are they going to start to get too far in the other side of the spectrum, too slow? They're looking to execute with 25 seconds to go here. Smoke's being put onto the site again.
Right in the back. Support of his teammate in Cryptic playing anti-flash, but they get up ahead. They're able to find the backstab. Oh, it's a bit of a team kill, but it won't matter. You've won out on the 1-for-1 fights, and Cadian can secure the bomb plant. So it's all down to the lonesome twosome. Running background, first peak is spotted. Freshie loses the fight to Naf, and the round goes with it. Money in the bank still for Boss, but Liquid starting to clamor back rounds on their T-half.
Yeah, not waiting for the full execute. They still had flashes and mollies, and that's why they were playing the anti-flash positions. It did catch them off guard with that fast peek from YEKINDAR, got the entry. So even within the context of going for that execute, there was a slight change, a slight variation, which caught Boss completely off guard. And these are the elements of Liquid that we know. They have levels to them. 5-4 the score. One saved M4 will afford them another buy. Got tons of cash, to be fair. They can probably buy for the next 2 or 3 rounds for the rest of the half. But Boss will be calling the timeout.
So it's interesting watching Cadian kind of talk with the hands, the way that he dials into everyone. Boss's timeout, though. And with the big money in the bank, opponent lane's hands being warmed up by the quick pass. Ooh, maybe that could get him back into his winning ways. He's looked damn good when he's been pushed towards the bomb site, but it's the fact they're playing that slower game now, right? They're obviously just trying to toy with them a lot more. And I think that is exactly what you're saying. It's just a lot more respect now off the back of the first couple rounds. They're realizing, all right, we really do have to kind of give it our all into this one. Let's focus back up to where we are.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sure Liquid came into this game knowing the sort of stakes and understanding the very large gravity of the situation. So it's not as if they were running kind of being disrespectful necessarily, but I think it's that loose style that you're talking about, like just allowing yourself to free flow into the game, feel your way out, and then they realized, okay, listen, we have to play a lot more mechanical, we have to play a lot more protocol heavy against these guys. Because we've seen when it comes to them holding position statically, they have super good aim on the side of Boss. Like, you're not going to completely bully these guys.
No, not at all. This is a bit of a cage match between these sides. Both locked in on Inferno. Opponent donned the orb. He's taken that early with a 3-player setup towards Banana. This has been the late flanks back where Liquid tried to sell the idea of an A play and then double around, but YEKINDAR's on the move to support this time, at least with the utility. You've only got 2 players there, both of them round towards pit side. Arch open at the minute. Darty and Freshie looking to work off one another with a pin pulled on the Molotov for quad.
Bracket smoked off. Skullz going to be spilling onto the side, but he doesn't check his back. Gets punished. Darty's there. Shuts him down with a backstab. Seemed completely unaware as to the positions of the CTs. Understandable, he was the spearhead of the operation, but it's put Liquid into all sorts of problems now. Darty watching onto the smoke, and it will clear as he carves a path through Cadian. Locking down the site, and surely the round on top of it. 30 seconds to play with, and YEKINDAR and Twistzz, they're trying to get the hell out of here.
Got to clutch on to the AKs in their hands. Tuck tail and turn. Walk away and give this one up. Stalwart defense there on the push. Your 2 players that needed to find frags absolutely deliver. Bone didn't reveal the AWP at all either. There wasn't a single shot fired from the weapon, so you're not going to know that it's in play at this point. Still a bit of an ace in the sleeve for Boss in this opening half.
Mate, what was that?
That was the victory call, Vince. That was the victory call.
He's just squawked at his teammates.
That's how they stay drilled.
Hey, fair play, mate. Each to their own. You know, I'm not judging. I'm just confused.
Guild Eagles just appear everywhere. You can never get rid of them, Vince.
Oh, every reason to be hyped, though. Obviously, that's a straight-up rifle round that you have triumphed over Liquid, and you made it look easy in the process. Skullz got a bit unfortunate with the timing, dropping, checking mini pit the wrong side, shut down in the back, and then everything just kind of fell into place.
Yeah. It's interesting as well, right? Like how obviously you come into it and it's one of those where you think, oh, it's going to be a Cadian classic where, you know, he's showboating, trying to keep the entire team sort of focused on him. Don't worry about the overall game, kind of like keep the energy high. And then it's straight back to what we had seen last time they were playing Inferno, where it's somber faces, a lot of very serious talks, the one-on-one conversations where you're just trying to fix the issues on the fly. This could be the band-aid that they might need. Cadian, T-side AWP coming out. What can he get done with it? Pylone, of course, still has his AWP for B. They go for the same setup again with 3 players around there.
And normally when you see Cadian with the AWP on the T side, it's an indication it's going to be a much slower paced round. He's going to try and get a pick for his teammates. Boosting into bedroom for the time being. Twistzz and Skullz going to be getting themselves comfortable. And there are no CTs to evict from these premises. They're playing much more deep and passive in a 3-player stack on the B side. Pwn alone still yet to fire off a shot, as you highlighted before. I'd imagine that Liquid probably have a read of the situation, knowing that the economy is certainly in shape for them to have picked one of these weapons up, but looks like they're going to be picking up the speed a little bit. Flashbang designated over on the quad side, and Skullz may go for a peek behind it, and indeed he shall.
You're going for the same play once again. This time it's the jiggle peek round the corner and the Molotov is dashed out. 55 seconds on the clock. They're hoping they're going to believe this will be the full commit towards the A play and start to send those players over. Freshy's getting re-aggressive. He's getting a bit antsy about this, trying to play off his teammates' support here to hold deep quad. You can hear all the bells and whistles. Flashbang over the top. Time starting to tick away, and the CTs are coming. They're going to arrive towards Arch side. Bomb can still be grabbed, though. With how they're setting themselves up here, they want the swing on brackets. Cadian with a flick, strikes on the first man. Naf and Twistzz take 2.
Really nice passage of play there for Liquid, as Naf is just cleaning up the rest. He's actually the player against BESTIA that really shone very bright indeed. It was a bit of a rough showing for most of Liquid, but Naf was out of control. Twistzz was there as well. Naf with 2 massive entries on the arches. And yeah, they just waited long enough, Jackie. As you said, it almost felt like they got a little bit restless. They wanted information because they had that one player on B, and they wanted to try and help Pwn alone out. And in doing so, they kind of pushed themselves into the trap.
Pwn's gonna get peeked as well. Ooh. Goes down. AWP removed, but the cache is there, so it won't matter too much. Gives them an extra bit of information and another round falling towards Liquid.
Yeah, and this is the importance, this is kind of the repercussion or the positive element of when they went to save those 4 weapons from, I think it was about 4 or 5 rounds ago. Some teams would have gone in for that one. They would have actually, I mean, we saw Guild Eagles go for these kinds of plays multiple times, and it ended up costing them dearly. So saving those 4 weapons now affords them the luxury to go for this buy, as opposed to being down to like MP9s, 5.7s, the usual hodgepodge of weaponry. But let's see if they can make it work. Pwn alone, aggressive and apt, but taking that fire damage has to back out.
Oh, the follow-up ticks as well, burning so much harder there. Stripping almost half his HP entirely off him. No contact, just raw chip damage. YEKINDAR feeling the same fate. As the nade's thrown down, they know it's the common angle he's been playing in. So they hit him straight on the head, and Freshy, with a heads-up movement, walks back round through Boiler and stabs onto Skullz in apartment. So there is a landlord in play this time, Vince, and he wants the rent money. It's late, Vince.
Oof. Well, he's not taking no for an answer, but Naf decides that he's going to try and squat as best as he can in there and draw fire, alleviate the pressure off the B side. Cadian looking to try an entry in on the site. Says, screw it, I'll do it alone then, boys. Gets the pick, but gets smoked off and backs out to pick up the bomb. Another entry, this time going the way of YEKINDAR, opens up business on mid.
Darty on the overextension, looking to get the info back towards middle. After Cadian found that pick. Oh, Twistzz lets it rip with the Kalashnikov. YEKINDAR trying to push his way up. They want to overwhelm Pwn, and they'll do just that. They take the man down, and it's a 1 versus 3. Last round of the half, Brett, all to do.
Now we're seeing shades of the Twistzz that we know. That's a nasty, nasty entry. No hope of being on the end of that one. And now Brett out into the open, into the lines, then may get the first onto YEKINDAR, very low, 14 HP, but YEKINDAR's not going to overstay his welcome. Backs off, playing the strength in numbers, and the backstab about to come in. There it is from Twistzz, and Liquid Gonna seal it up at 6-6 come the second half. I think they'll be relatively happy with that, even though they did get off to a lead. That middle portion of the half was a little bit dodgy.
Yeah, definitely a couple of rounds that were, you know, if you rolled the dice on them, it probably wouldn't have happened the same way. All in all, though, Boss putting up a good fight throughout the course of the opening half there on their CT side. Now the question is, well, what damage can they unleash on their T half, really, especially coming into this pistol? Got talented pistol players on that Liquid team. One that you need to claim as well. And from a 6-6 scoreline, it would project you so much further where, you know, you can forget about the fact you've been trailing for a little while. You're instantly in the position to command the game.
I mean, it was 5-2 at one stage on the side of Boss after losing the pistol in the subsequent second round. It was that third round, obviously, the plant that was just a little bit too late. And then from there on out, it was all Boss for quite a while. So if Liquid can rinse and repeat, as you highlighted, very individually capable players with the pistols, and they've guessed correctly, all 10 players gonna bump heads as they ram into one another through mid and second mid, and it's YEKINDAR that opens his account with 2.
And this is a read. This is one they knew about going into it, expected the pistol from Boss, and were able to combat it by sending all players to just scrap, throwing out haymakers down towards second mid, but finally 2 frags come back to back up the Boss boys. They're looking to shut this one down, and they're giving them the 1-for-1s. Okay, tables turn, we're into a 2v2. Pone makes his move through the underpass and looks to fight top mid. First shot goes awry, and they're doubled up. They know they've got him trapped. Freshy's got to bail his boy out on the re-peek from the side.
This was a 3 versus 5. And although the HP's still favoring Liquid, the fact that we're even in this position in the first place from these overextension peaks through middle is kind of insane. Now Canids effectively in a 1-on-2. If they peek him both together and they get the clean kill, this round heavily goes in favor of Boss, and Cadian is crossing his fingers and hoping for the best, stuck in the back box. And now the information's going to come through. Flash proceeds to push. Oh, it's a TK. Freshy leaping into the air. Nullifies Cadian, but shut down by his teammate. But Freshy has tons of time now for this post plant. Twistzz going to be coming in on the arches and gets taken down by Freshy. A 3v5. How have you lost that, Liquid?
Oh, mate, they go into that one with the read, Vince. They felt like they had it any damn day of the week. They keep giving them 1-for-1 fights, and they get punished for it. Freshy with a bloodlust at the end, but it doesn't matter because he still batters them with the Glock. Oh, that's a pistol round with authority. If you can keep this up, if you don't throw things away now, going back into it, play against the anti-eco, this could be hellish. There it is from his POV as well, but it's this one that matters. That's the round winner.
Man, it's even worse than I thought, Jackie. It was a 2v5.
I know, bud. It's mad.
Oh, my. Well, they've got the scalp, they've got an M4, and they've got a pick, but it's at the cost of the likes of Twistzz, and that's probably not a worthwhile trade if you're Liquid. You're banking quite a lot of his very capable mechanical skill, and now in the meanwhile, Boss going to be making up the moves on Banana, sending Cryptic by himself into the smoke. He's going to be trying to wrap around, but it's a freebie, and Cadian obliges.
All comes down to the last 3 players then. Brute force strength is what you need. Claw back the round on the attack towards B. Utility's coming over the top. YEKINDAR turning inside of the smoke. Now flies 5-7. Is absolutely sick at the best of times, but Freshy with a Molotov. It goes down towards the back of the site, burns out Brett. Pone alone is all left in a 1v2. He's got a bit of time here. Both of the CTs are relatively far away. They're going for the split push back into the bomb site on a retake, but he's paranoid about the peaks, expecting them to be close on the site. The last smoke goes down, blocks off CT, walks round towards Ruin side. He wants to clear it first. Knows he's got a bit of time on the clock here.
Yeah, that initial uncertainty now may cost him, though, because he's going to have to go in for the plant. This is going to allow Liquid to get that a little bit closer. And now Canian's going to be taking that first point of call, but he gets the shutdown from Skullz with the USP, as Pone alone was anticipating a second player from Banana. And that force by yielding success again. And how many times was that the case against BESTIA as well, by the way? These like AWP 5-7 buys on the CT side, they won 3 or 4 of them. They had no right to win. It dug them out of so many ditches.
Yeah, as soon as I saw him with a 5-7 towards second oranges, I was a little bit scared. I thought that's one of those where he just absolutely unleashes, lets it rip like a Beyblade. unfortunate in some of these fights as well. The boss playing into the hands of the pistols up close. Scrap towards B. This was the team kill that came out. Freshly threw the Molotov over towards Dark Spot, attempting to force the player out of position. As you're clearing around the corner, Mac-10 walks into it, drops Brett. The round itself is now history. Unfortunate for Pone Alone. Tried to make the best of the situation as well. 14 frags to his name. He's been delivering here on Inferno. Round 15, then 7-7. It's tied up, but the difference is Liquid now have the superior firearms.
Yeah, Pone Alone, the newest recruit to the roster. And he is delivering in spades right now. Needs somebody else to help him out, and that's always the issue. It's always the quandary that you feel when a team is doing so well statically on the CT side. Are they able to pick that pace up when it's on the T side? Especially in a map like Inferno, where your opportunities are few and far between. Will Pone Alone have any help? We're going to have to find that one out, but in the meanwhile, it's going to be Mac-10s. And Tech-9s, the run and gun potential extremely high, the threat levels high alongside it. But Liquid taking a leaf from the boss playbook here with the quad play, but there's Molotovs and flashes, but it's the same result. It's a massacre. Skullz, Naf, and Twistzz all chip in for one.
The different angles of elevation throwing off the crosshairs, but in the 1-for-1 scraps, they win a couple of them. Naf walking up the steps as well into the hands of Freshie. Mercs in with a Mac-10. 40 seconds on the clock, another 1v2, a costly round for Liquid, even if they get it over the finish line. Peeks around the back towards balcony. And YEKINDAR does starve it off. Got to recover those weapons, though. The other rifle's up on top of quad.
Okay, don't leave him hanging, please. There you go. All good.
Perfectly cut screams.
There it is.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I love that.
But you're dead on the money, though. That was a really costly round on Liquid. And although they can't make the most of it now, if they get a kill or two in this round and further down the line in the CT, it could catch up with Liquid. But they do have 2 MP9s, 3 MP9s in actual fact. So this is their golden opportunity to just print that cash once more and put that last round and lock it up. It's going to be a complete and utter devastation through middle. And although Brett gets one, he's living on borrowed time. MP9 is out, nearly takes the kill down on YEKINDAR, and that probably would have been the difference maker. It would have been more money in the back of Brett, would have been 2 rebuys. But Liquid weather the storm.
Perfect play towards brackets. Really just want to farm up that cash. Get a round over and done with. And Boss take the time out before they go into their buy.
Have a good read of it, Draki. I did hear that one of the players said they had trash guns, they had 3 MP9s. So they know that Liquids are in a bit of an awkward spot themselves. Do they want to maintain these MP9s knowing that AKs are coming up? Do they want to try and trade up? And therefore they lose a couple of utility here or there, like an incendiary, a HE. So a timeout has been called. And they're going to know that Liquid are kind of against the ropes here. Yeah, sure, you're behind. Yes, you're feeling the pressure and everything else, but Liquid are far from ideal. They're far from stabilized.
No, they're wounded right now. They are wounded. Bosch can definitely push the initiative here if they keep it going with how they're playing. He took time to have a look over the notes as well. Preparation, the anti-strats come out swinging into the 17th round. Very heavy investment towards the B site as well. Banana control. I think a big piece of the puzzle. YEKINDAR up to his old style of play. Straight down, post up behind the barrels, look to command respect, and this allows the rotate off from the other players. They can go back and bolster the defense on A now with a deep smoke. All faith in YEKINDAR.
It's good to see as well, man, because he has had a bit of a rough tournament here, so still having faith in him to solo hold. We'll build up that confidence. It's had a decent map so far. 8 kills to his name. Extra smoke and flashbang tossed in. And oh, nearly through that smoke. He delivers onto Brett down to 18 health. And gets up close and personal.
It's a big tag. Calling for the rotate back around as well. Cadian with the extra utility. Late round on this, but here comes the push. Here comes the boom as well. Nade over the top for Naf, straight towards Arch. YEKINDAR finally confirms the deep control he was looking for onto Brett. Ponalone stepping into the crossfire and falls because of it. 2 players remain on Boss into the 17th. Bomb's going to get mollied. Freshie trying to grab it by the tips of his fingers. Let's eventually get it back on him. 17 seconds though, you've got to do something swift here.
I think it's going to be a save, Jackie. I think they have no further part to play in this round, other than just raw survival. And this is a great round by YEKINDAR. Perfect timing, 2 kills with the MP9, trading up to AKs. I mean, this is pretty much the perfect round if you're Liquid. As just we were talking, they weren't stabilized. They were still a little bit shaky. Well, now they have reached that point where they regathered themselves, a couple of deep breaths, tons of cash, premier rifles on their side, and a 10-7 lead.
I'm not gonna be third guy. I don't have a mallow. We don't have enough money for one.
Comms coming across there in terms of the utility that they're going to be using, setting themselves up. Probably the 3-player setup towards Banana again. You get the smoke round early, deep Banana. Molly goes out mid, but this is a far faster play from Liquid. They're playing right into their hands. Oh, they're going to be running straight into the Liquid squad, defending top Banana. Bombardment comes out as the AK sprays down from YEKINDAR. He's looking for the headshot as well, but the MAC-10 overwhelms. Molotov forced back Naf, but he's got another one in the back pocket. Oh, he gets trapped and falls to Cadian.
Oh, that was a squashing of the Banana, just stamping on top of Boss. They never got a chance in that round. Just a full-on rush into tons of HEs and Molotovs. And although Freshie's trying desperately to silent drop down to catch off guard one of the CTs, no one's close enough proximity anyway for him to exploit. 11-7 going to be the score, and that was off the back of another force. It's not going to look any better for Boss in this next round. Probably some P250 Tech 9s, not much else. And this is always potentially the problem, Jackie. You know, you got that really solid hold of both sides on the CT side, but this T side it's been flat.
Had a few opportunities. But Liquid, with the confidence resurging, they've had the right read in a lot of these rounds in terms of the setups when they need to go far more aggressive towards deep Banana, when they can afford to play it a bit more laxed. And you've got everything you would physically want as well. Money's there to buy out towards the end of the game if they keep things cleanly. Nades and AKs in play. For Boss, it's just the one rifle that's brought over, but that's basically going to be the only thing you have going into the 19th.
Counter-terrorists win.
Get this man 2 more beers for tomorrow.
2 more beers for tomorrow.
Well, now we know the winning secret.
You can definitely see on the sort of just general body language a lot more calm now for Liquid. They were looking a little bit desperate when it was 5-2 against them. Some heads were dropping. That's no longer the case. 3rd time out on Boss. YEKINDAR started 0-4, now 13-9, having tons and tons of impact. He's had 3 multi-kill rounds, 5 opening picks in his favor. He's having a very good map here, which is great to see because he's come under a lot of scrutiny recently.
No, so. Yeah, the narrative has definitely flipped for YEKINDAR in recent times. Someone that you want to see back to his winning ways as well. You know, the individual talent's definitely there. It felt like he sort of lost confidence in some of the plays, especially in that BESTIA game where Harry was playing Banana. It felt very different to his usual flavor. Getting back into his stride here, though. And this is a big confidence round. You get the deep phase mode that goes out, so you can take bottom mid control. 3 players here. Pona alone. P250 Punisher comes straight around the corner and rips their head off. But they will have no more shenanigans in this one.
Unfortunately, is the only highlight of that round as far as Boss are concerned. Apart from that, it was one-way traffic. However, Boss effectively into an eco round. Now going to have a full purchase. I just saw Ponalone pick up an AWP before we switch to the very handsome Twistzz. They have themselves many map points. This is the choice of Liquid, and we were discussing it before. You know, Ancient, certainly in terms of stats, is Boss's best map. You expect them to come out swinging on that one. So a solid start overall on Liquid, assuming they can close this one off. It's the same smoke, the same aggression. Will it be the same result, though? Skullz up on the staircase, spots Cryptic, neutralizes him, and is freshly just around the corner as well, and Skullz gets himself 2. That should be good enough, especially as Twistzz has bypassed this smoke in a really forward position. Gonna be catching multiple players off guard, but they pass each other, and Brett checks his angles.
Oh, Pone as well, watching towards the gap of the smoke. Sees a little bit of skin from YEKINDAR as he walks around the corner, tags him, but can't back him yet. His teammates are still demolishing everyone from Liquid, though. They do not want to go down in the 20th. They want to keep fighting. And it's up to this man to clutch it out now. Rips it back into a 1v2. Walking through the smoke into the crosshairs of Brett. Playing around the edge of it. Brett backs up. Round towards Boiler side, very low on HP. They barely pass each other, but he's going to clear this angle. Fast flick as well. Shuts it back down. It's a 1-for-1 now. A winnable timeline, but Pone was waiting, and it's a perfect connection. They stay alive, but they lose everything.
Yeah, exactly. YEKINDAR did a lot of work at the end. Everyone down to around $3,500, even after success. So YEKINDAR has effectively pushed him into Galil, some MAC-10s. Pone alone can drop an AK for one of his teammates if they need it, which is exactly what happens. So yeah, you lost the round, but YEKINDAR did everything he possibly could, barring winning, to bring Boss to their knees. But we go again. That's the kind of scrappy, chaotic round, though. It was a coin flip, let's be honest. Like, if Brett doesn't turn around and check, like, Twistzz probably wins that round. So, can you get it done, Boss? In more orthodox rounds, in more protocol-centric rounds. Molotov, well-placed, well-timed, will keep Cryptic at bay.
That's the thing, it's just about sustainability now. How many times they can repeat the success? Well, they're fast on brackets. They're going straight up. Molotov's late round the corner as well. And Twistzz flicks off. He goes back in and does at least go for the 1-for-1. Traded out by Brett. Labored spray from Skullz. Falls down. Brett. He's being able to cause a lot of issues for Liquid right now. You've got a bit of an edge to play with. YEKINDAR is fast on the adjustment though. Straight up middle. Takes down Pone. Looking for 2, but Darty denies.
Naf and Katie, last 2 players, both stuck in arches. Not sure they want any part of this round now. They had tons of cash, but now it's been brought back down to reality. Smoke onto brackets. But you already see that Naf has no interest. He's over on Banana side. It's going to be a save. So the answer to the question is, yes, you have a more standard sort of orthodox round, protocols from the Archers crunch, and they get it done. Brett got 2 massive entry frags, especially that second one onto Skullz. But Cadian is going to try and allow the bomb to do most of the work for him. I think Brett may be a dead man. Looks to the skies and takes his last breath. But it's fine. He'll be resurrected in just a few moments.
The most expensive of the equipment in the AWP was at least held onto, so you can drop that back over to Pone. Sigh of relief for Darty off the back of the round as they know they're at least still in the game. Still alive on Inferno for now. Liquid use the third of the timeouts. The last one makes sense to call it in. You know you're close to closing it. Take that final opportunity to figure things out and get the winning solution.
Yeah, Saw's use was very quick to motion the T for the timeout there, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. They still have a huge advantage, but that's going to quickly slip by if they're not careful. Rallying the troops again. High fives all around. 12-9 the score, and with those 2 save weapons, it's going to be a full purchase with 3 A4s and the 1 A1S. It's always interesting for me at the pro level of play is which players decide to utilize which of the M4s. I feel like most of them are A1Ss right now, but more A4s are coming around the corner.
Yeah, you see the slight differences sometimes if you need the extra bullets for some of the early spams, depending on if you're playing around the smokes as well, but I just feel a bit like just personal preference. The early nades with some unconfirmed damage towards the T-steps. That's Brett that loses quite a big chunk of his HP. Molotov spreads round towards top car, and YEKINDAR's forced off as Pone alone breaks the smoke to take an opening peek on Banana. I
think Inferno also lends itself very much to that debate because there's so many sort of like bottleneck smoke angles where you want to spray with the A4 and have the extra 10 bullets. Try and do what you can with a surplus ammo and magazine capacity, of course. Although Naf is just shoulder peeking, waiting for a pixel so he can throw in his utility. YEKINDAR's also laid in wait up close. He's moved to 18. So the second they see or sniff out a T, there's going to be smokes in their eyes. And Pwn is watching CT spawn, but time is beginning to dwindle away, and the bombs still drop back at T steps. This could be Cryptic picking that one up as Pwn alone is going slowly round the side. He may get his man. Did Naf spot him? He did indeed. Smokes down, and that's going to be the delayed push.
That's a raw 20 seconds taken off the clock. You're realizing you're gonna have 10 seconds left on the timer by the time that one dissipates. The bomb postures back up towards A. You want to throw in the utility and try to sell the idea this will be a B play. You hope they bite, and one man does. The brains of the operation in KD goes running round on Speedway. The last two defenders of A have to put the foot down to win it here. Twistzz playing on the side, supported by Skullz. They both insert the 9-10 seconds on the timer, one by one. Boss are being obliterated. They're gonna fall down as Liquid close it and finally make it to 13, winning the first map of the best of 3.
With a 6-6 half, Boss have finally been able to put up some more rounds than usual versus an incredibly disjointed Liquid.